Hopefully good. So, I want to talk about Democratic Party influencers. Not AOC. Yes, she is one of them. Definitely influencer marketing. This is even better. So this has been a big thing on Twitter. These kids put out these pro-Biden videos. And I mean, they're not completely wrong, let's be honest, about about the Republicans, but they're also unusually excited and complimentary about Biden and the Democrats, which is a red flag because, as Shoe on Head here said, I knew these TikTok twinks were paid before they were exposed because what person under the age of 45 is excited about Joe Biden for free? Very solid point. So anyway, this is the video that started it all. Let's watch.
What the Republican Party doesn't understand about Gen Z is we don't like you. You claim you want to appeal to Gen Z, but you call us stupid, you say we're dumb, you say we're indoctrinated. I promise it's a losing strategy. And Gen Z is watching the Republican Party extremely closely as they destroy our environment, take rights away from women, do nothing about kids being shot in schools, and if they think they can give the middle finger to our generation and get away with it, they're sorely mistaken.
Okay, so let's start with the list of things that he rattles off. Abortion rights, gun rights, they're doing nothing about it. Neither are the Democrats. So right off the bat, like the Roe v. Wade thing, people want to blame the Republicans for that, but you also have to blame the people who have ran on defending Roe v. Wade for years and done zero about it. So right off the bat, their argument is silly. And then what's funny is, thanks to Elon's Twitter, there's this thing called community notes. Now, community notes are actually one of the best sources of verification there is because the community has to upvote them and the information is in the note. So let's watch this. So basically what happened is, these kids got called out for being DNC paid influencers, and they tried to say it was and this is why the Twitter files are so important because, 2-3 years ago, had this happened before Elon purchased Twitter, anyone who criticized these kids would have been blocked for misinformation. But the reality is they are paid DNC influencers. Listen to Homeboy's defense right here.
So some MAGA trolls have been claiming that I'm a shill paid for by the DNC, and I don't actually believe what I say. If I've learned anything in my time making content on the internet, it's always a losing battle to feed the trolls, so I'm only going to address this once. I have never been paid by the DNC, ever. In fact, any content I've ever been sponsored to post has been labeled as such as required by law. I suppose it's worth mentioning that I've never been paid by Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, or the deep state either. The best part is this grand conspiracy the liberal Illuminati has been hiding from them is literally just a Washington Post article. And if they actually read the article, they would see that no creator was paid anything. If you think that I need to be paid to make content with President Obama, then you've clearly never seen the content I've been posting on this app for years. The fact that these conspiracy theorists think it would take a paid actor bribed by a liberal conspiracy to speak out against gun violence against kids or student loan debt or making sure that everyone has the right to vote just shows you how out of touch they are. I really appreciate the people who've been defending me against these ridiculous threats, and for the conspiracy theorists, I'm sorry, there's no story here.
Okay, so what these guys did is typical political bullshit. He says, I've never been paid by the DNC or Biden. And that's true, he hasn't. He's been paid by a third-party media firm who was paid by the DNC and the Biden campaign. And that's well documented. And it's interesting to note that these people always use, MAGA trolls, conspiracy theorists. No, you're a moron if you think we can't see what's going on, son. I'm sorry. And this is how pathetic these guys have gotten. What they do is they post these things on Twitter and people add the community notes, and you're not allowed to respond. It's set up so that only DNC robots can respond and go, yeah, you guys are awesome. I can't believe MAGA trolls are criticizing you. How dare anyone point out that everything you say is literally paid for by the Democratic Party? It is. So let's walk through that real quick. So the first bit of evidence that the article that this community note cites is Harry's LinkedIn page, which has him as an employee of Pallet MGMT, Pallet Management. And his experience there, outside of his university experience, his professional experience lists content creator for Pallet Management, full-time, October 2022 through the present. Now, he said something about making content for Obama. Maybe back in those days, he did that for free. I don't know. There's a possibility that he did that stuff for free, and that's probably how Pallet Management found him and, got a bunch of money from the DNC to do this garbage, these garbage TikToks that they do that are, just like, they're just silly. It's the ultimate, as the kids would say, cringe garbage, where they go, yeah, the Republican Party thinks that they like us, but we don't like them because, yeah, we're kids and we're smart, and yeah, Democrats, oh, yeah. Like, we're supposed to believe these kids are excited about geriatric-ass Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. So the pushback on them and the exposure of what they're doing became so real that the other day they appeared on Tim Dillon, which is crazy. Not a smart move on their part, because Tim Dillon just made them look really stupid. And let's play a couple. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but let's play some of that real quick.
I was on Twitter the other day. I was scrolling on Twitter, and I try not to do that, but I do. It's addictive. It's not as addictive as TikTok, which is the problem. The TikTok algorithm, they say, is the most addictive. But Twitter is, now it's a little more fun now than it was. It's always been crazy. But so I go through it, and I came across these kids that were yelling about Biden. And Twitter's, they're like young dudes screaming about Biden, about that they love Biden. It's hilarious. It almost felt like trolling, but it wasn't. That they love Biden and that Gen Z is going to elect Biden and all that stuff. And usually on Twitter, it's the little Nazi kids that are always chirping about how like the band, their band teacher made them trans again or something else, which it may or may not be true. But it's usually that's the contingent that I see a lot. I guess maybe that's who follows me or whatever. But I saw these kids and I thought it was like a joke. And I've been trying to get David Hogg on the show. We tried to get David Hogg on the show. David Hogg will not come on the show. I don't know what he's afraid of, or maybe he just, loathes me. I don't know. But I'm watching these freaks, right? And they're just screaming and yelling about Biden and Gen Z. And I invited them on the show. And I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised that you said yes. And you're here.
Yeah, of course. In LA for some odd reason.
And you're here, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you were told not to do it by a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's right.
But, just having fun. Gotta have some fun.
So I just want to give these guys credit for doing this, because you know what? Despite who they are and who they're being paid to support, this is brave. And it's also, it's cool of them to choose someone like Tim Dillon, who's obviously not going to go easy on them. He's going to go hard. And he does.
Are you guys paid DNC shills?
No, that's just like a conspiracy that's been crafted on Twitter specifically in the recent days, that we've received money from the DNC. We've never received money from the DNC. If the DNC was paying people, we should be first in line with how much we promote Biden.
Yeah, because you put out all of these videos all the time. You should get money.
Yeah.
I mean, go get money. If you're not getting money, go get money.
Well, and we've received $0 from the DNC for it. And like, I don't know, it's just been a crazy couple of days, as you've seen. There's been like 70 million views on this story. And for us, it's just a little frustrating because, like real issues going on. There's actual things affecting real Americans. And we're trying to like talk about that stuff. We're not trying to talk about the DNC paying people, which is not even real.
Yeah. When did you get into this? Why do you care so much? I've always found that a declining society, and I think the great Anna Hashin of Red Scare said this, a society really starts to crumble when women and young people get involved in politics. Politics should be for kind of, boring men in gray suits. And when women and young people feel the need, it's like the Hitler Youth, right? When women and young people get involved, it's a problem.
So why do you keep screaming about that Gen Z should be involved? Why should Gen Z get involved in anything?
Well, to be honest, like two creepy men approached me and knocked on my door 5 months ago, and they were like, "We'll give you X amount of money."
Yeah.
No.
So again, they're using the "we're not paid by the DNC" lie. Of course. The DNC is not going to directly pay these guys, just like Hillary Clinton didn't directly pay for the Steele dossier. You know, they spread that money out to little subcontractors to diffuse the blame, so they can go, oh no, we're not paid by the DNC. Of course not, we're not. No, you're not. You're paid by a company that's paid by the DNC to say the things you say. Otherwise, you would not be so ridiculously complimentary to an administration that is frankly a gigantic right-wing joke of an administration. They did nothing for Roe v. Wade. The Biden student debt relief program was intentionally done the way it was. He could end it with an executive order, but they intentionally wrote it the way they did so the courts could strike it down and they could go, oh, our bad. We didn't know that the court was going to strike it down. There's the marijuana arrest. Basically, all the Biden administration did is a continuation of what the Obama administration did. Was they were really good at PR and pretending they were doing great stuff, but the devil's in the details. And when you look at the reality of the things they're doing, they're right-wing garbage with dressed up as progressive wins.
It's all Trump, right? Harry and I, like, very much a lot of this political field is just, we all looked at the TV at like 15 years old. We saw Donald Trump lying all the time, 24/7. He's a freak. And we just got super passionate about, like, this is not the direction we can go. And so at the end of the day, like, it's actually Trump's, it's Trump's fault.
Do you not think that most, if not all, politicians bend the truth to serve themselves?
Yes, but not like Donald Trump.
I do think Trump does tell whoppers.
I've talked about this extensively. It's like Trump's on a whole new propaganda level. It's disgusting.
Well, there's a lot of people that would say that the American government, for a very, very long time, has been very dishonest with its citizens. This is something that...
Can you give me an example?
Can I give you an example of the American
that was stupid. I'm going to stop. Just stop.
Citizens?
Well, of course it happens, but like...
But what I'm saying to you is, like, you can make it all about Trump if you'd like, but there's a lot of people that, feel that when you guys, you're very, it very much seems that when you're talking, it feels a little North Korea-ish. You feel like you're just talking about one side,
right?
And you're saying, and I don't know, I've never seen a video of you guys criticizing Democrats. I've never seen a video of you guys being introspective at all. In the sense that, like, it just seems like you're cheerleaders for one side instead of going, hey, I'm a young guy, I want to be involved, and I'm passionate about this, but, like, yeah, maybe our side isn't perfect in this way and that way.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, it's actually really hard in this space, right? Like, we have like 45 seconds to record a video, keep people's attention. And a lot of the people on our side, like, if they start hearing, like, I've actually done it before. I've criticized, like, Democrats, like specifically Hakeem Jeffries, and it all just went south. Like, I started losing followers. Like, it's bad, right? And I really want to be that person that, like, reaches the other side, because Democrats, I mean, they're horrible at their jobs, right? They do a lot of shitty things, although I'll vote for them all the time. But it's also hard in the space to criticize them.
That's a good. Can we clip that quote? They're horrible at their jobs. They do shitty things.
Please don't clip that. Please, no. Please.
By the way, I would say the same. I would say the same thing about most party machine politicians. I would say I don't think you're wrong. I think it's the lesser of two evils argument that people have had forever. What you just said is pretty much where the American people are. A lot of people think Democrats and Republicans are both horrible at their jobs, and the people that vote for them are still going to vote for them based on whatever self-interest they have. I don't think that's actually that crazy.
So this kid makes two really good points. This kid brings up two very visible things. The first is that there's a liberal echo chamber, and that if you cross that liberal echo chamber and you say anything outside of their dogmatic belief system, they'll flee, because you're not reflecting their politics back at them in the way they want them reflected back at them. And the second part is, he goes, Democrats are terrible, but I'll keep voting for them all the time. And if you watch the last couple years, it's very obviously what happened. With Hillary, the Democrats became the neocons. You know, when it was obvious Trump was going to be the nominee, the Kagans and the Bill Kristols and the David Frums of the world migrated slowly over to the Democratic Party. The Democrats then ran as the party of the professional managerial class, so they lost all the working class vote. Hillary Clinton just thought she was going to sail into the White House after Obama, and by doing nothing, didn't have to talk to working people, didn't have to cater to any blue collar people whatsoever. And then Trump beat her. And then, rather than admit that they screwed up, the Democrats doubled down, started calling Trump a Russian spy, and instead of examining the reasons that they lost so many voters to Trump, who was saying racist stuff in the press or whatever, and a lot of that, looking back, I think twice about how cut out of context and stuff the media, how dirty the media did Trump. But that aside, this whole last 5 years has been a lesson in the Democrats fucking up.
What I think, though, is like when you're so young and you're yelling and you have people that have had so much more life experience than you, you can imagine how it looks to people that are older, and they see you guys and they go, these kids, I mean, even though you're not kids, you're adults, you're young men, but they go, they don't fucking have any idea what they're talking about. Maybe Harry, you obviously you're from Langley, Virginia, you have a little bit more, but then Chris, they found you in like a Waffle House. So people I had no idea George Soros ate in Waffle Houses, but the point is like, so what do you guys do? I go on Twitter sometimes, and you and the little MAGA freaks, you guys all yell at each other and stuff for 4 hours a night. Shouldn't you be doing drugs and getting laid? Isn't that more fun than screaming about Kamala Harris? Isn't this a weird way to spend your young adulthood?
It is, yeah.
The human truths are so much deeper than just politics. Whenever I see somebody, like, it's all the same type of freaks, and it's just young guys in suits with these vacant looks in their eyes, and they got a photo with Trump or a photo with Biden, and you're all just, and I guess it's necessary because that's the next generation of fucking people that are gonna come and ruin the country.
So that last thing Tim did there was brilliant. He kind of points out that, hey, who in their right mind at your age is out here doing this kind of political chat stuff? You guys should be out doing drugs and having fun, enjoying your youth. And the reason that they're doing it is because they're being paid. And they can go out and say, oh, we're not paid by the DNC, and call it MAGA trolls. That's why they block the comments so people can't post screenshots. But it's obvious what's going on, guys. And cheers to you for facing it on Tim Dillon, but it's kind of weak what you do on Twitter by posting these rants and then making it so only DNC robots can respond and support you. Anyway, I had to walk through all that BS because it's just too funny. Take good care of yourselves out there.